Hi everyone, welcome to Deadline Dilemmas, brought to you by Fantasy Football Scout. Praz, you must be buzzing after that result.
What a night, man. Like, what a week, like I have to say. But yeah, tonight was also great for a lot of free hitters. Like, I don't like some people owned Mbumo, some people owned Chris Wood, some people had Nottingham Forest defense. Like, is there a more ideal result? Is there a more ideal result than this one where like everyone blanks? And then on top of it, Man United do well in the Europa League. I thought the red card was a little bit harsh. Like,
Yeah.
but we take it 3-0 up, away leg. So yeah, very good evening. And you should be buzzing. You won the league.
What can I
Or
say?
your team did.
I didn't want to bring it up, Praz. I was actually going to wear my Liverpool top, but I thought that's a bit too extreme, so I thought I'd
Yeah,
leave
so you
it.
were
But
the Man United one. I understand.
no, but yeah, I'm over the moon. Great season, so it's good that we're in both good spirits. And just quickly before we move on to this game week, let's have a quick debrief regarding your free hit. How was it? How did you finish? And how did it go for
What
you?
can I say, man? What can I say? Like everything worked out. In a world where you could pick any defender, people end up picking the defenders and goalkeepers who keep not only clean sheets but also get assists and goals. So Ait Nouri gets an assist and clean sheet. Sessegnon gets a goal which was worth 9 points because he got bonus. Trippier, my sweetheart, gets 2 assists and a clean sheet. Even Sanchez gets 2 bonus. Now, of course, Sa saved a penalty, but I like my points clean. No jammy pen saves or anything. So, and the 2 blankers, which is basically Palmer. Who would I have got? Let's say at the end of the deadline, somebody comes, or actually at deadline, before the free hit, somebody comes on a Saturday morning from the future and says, "Hey, Pras, Palmer has blanked and Jimenez has blanked. Don't pick them." You know who I'll pick? I'll
Who?
pick Clivert, or I'll pick
That's
Mbumo instead of Palmer. They also blanked. Instead of Jimenez, who will I pick? Welbeck, or I will pick Chris Wood, or I'll pick Evanilson. They all blanked. So you literally could not have, even if you knew the future on which players are going to blank, you literally couldn't have picked another team which would have done better. So no complaints.
I'm totally in agreement with you. Even I remember me and you having this discussion. I was skeptical regarding your Cucurella pick, and fair play. It turned out a clean sheet, like you said. I didn't go with him, and I was
Well, I didn't
frustrated.
have Cucurella either.
Oh, you didn't in the end?
No.
Did you change it? Oh, you
So the
don't.
team I
Oh,
shared, basically an hour before, I had Pope and Cucurella. And then an hour before, I was like, dude, I need to have Trippier, man. How can I not have Trippier?
you done
And
well.
so then I changed Pope to Sanchez and Cucurella to Trippier, which got me another 12 points more.
So I take the credit for the Trippier pick, basically, because that's the one. That was one of my sort of non-negotiables.
I'm happy to give you credit. Happy to give you credit. How was your free hit?
It was, I think I finished on 86 points. Not too bad. Not as good as yours, mainly because my I've had 2 players. Raul Jimenez was frustrating, like you said. He blanked. Leno in goal. That was a sucker blow that one day. That was not nice to take.
Okay.
Apart from that, I went Trent in defense, which was risky. I got an assist, so it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad, but
no
it
free
hurts
hit
me.
picks blanked. No free hit picks apart from Leno.
Yeah.
One midfielder slot and one striker slot. Everybody else did well. So
yeah, I agree with you. And what you touched on earlier on regarding if you didn't go Palmer, you would have I went Clivert. So that's an example. And that didn't work out. When I saw him coming off, I was like, oh, a bit frustrating.
You
but
didn't
overall,
pick Palmer?
No, I didn't. I had him first on the bench.
Dude, I would have been really pissed with you had Palmer done
I would have
anything.
had, you know what? But I don't know, man. I know we had that discussion. I still thought Everton will just be stubborn. I know they've lost their best centre back. I thought that would be enough. So that was my thinking behind it. But the real frustrating one, well, actually, I only lost 2 points, is I went Raul Jimenez and I benched Palmer. So that was the combination. It was one of those. And it's only 2 points in the end. So not too bad.
Jimenez had the most number of shots on the weekend.
He always does that. He always does it. Do you remember when I owned him? When was we like doing our pod every week? There was a phase for 6 weeks, Praz. He was literally good quality chances in the box, and he's missing them, or the keeper's saving them. Yeah, not had a good relationship with him this season.
Anyway, let's look forward. So if you were not on a free hit, I have to say you could not have been unluckier. Like, this was the week where if you weren't on free hit, it was very tough. Not only did the free hit picks do well, the non-free hit, Mbumo, Chris Wood, Nottingham Forest defense, Bournemouth attack, all basically flopped. Even people
Yeah.
with Kepa, poor guys, man, they had like 10 points and they went down to 3. It basically, if you want on a free hit, it didn't work. So I apologize on behalf of all free hitters. Like, it was disgusting luck like this week. So nothing else to say.
Though they've had a bad week. I've had loads of them this season, but I feel you. I mean, at least our free hit was superior than our bench boost price. So we will take that.
Bench boost was terrible indeed. This is true.
It was exactly. So we're smiling this game week here. Now, before we move on to our teams and our dilemmas, I wanted to start with. So it's been announced. We were at one stage getting excited for a potential double game week 36 and maybe a blank. That's been put to bed. What's your take on it? Are you happy? For us, I think we don't have chips. So does that make us? Is this good for us?
I mean, it's good because if somebody's on a triple captain, they could have got a massive haul versus your cap. Yeah, that could have been something that would have gone against you or people on bench boost. But at the same time, if you're chasing rank, right, then I think a double is always good because not everybody plans for these doubles. And who could have doubled? Crystal Palace could have doubled. Hey, we have 3 Crystal Palace. Man City could have doubled. Hey, we have 3 Man City or 2 or 3 Man City. Aston Villa could have doubled. I have 2 already. I would have got Watkins as well. So I think in a way I was hoping for 1 or 2, not 3. But getting 0 feels a little bit meh because the next 4 fixtures as a block, there is no one team. And if there is, it's Brentford that everybody will then pick. And so now, we are all on this path, like not only are we doing similar wildcards, we're on similar paths. So basically, once you're on wildcard 31, you're moving like a conveyor belt from week to week. Basically, okay, now we're all gonna do Murphy to Rogers. We're all gonna do this guy to this guy. We're all gonna bench boost. We're all gonna free hit. Now this week we're all gonna do Saka to Rogers, Saka to Bumo. Now I don't mind it. I'm very happy with my rank.
I was going to ask that, Praz. Does that suit you? It's maybe for someone like me who wants to chase and find something different, it's trickier. For you, I suppose everyone's going to go to your team, captain your players.
It's absolutely fine. So I don't mind it. Although I was hoping for 1 or 2 blanks, like for fun, like getting a few doubles and then the same team's blanking gives a nice little dilemma for people. Like, should I commit to it or not? Because had there been a double, people maybe wouldn't have gone for Boomo this week and they would have said, okay, maybe I need to save my transfer for double game week 36. It just would have added a little bit of spice. So as it happens, we won't get it. Now, I should add that even though FPL in classic style have decided to say there cannot be any doubles or blanks, there is still a minute chance the Villa Spurs game can still move, right? Because the last we heard from Spurs were that they are desperately trying to get that move to Thursday. Villa said we are desperately making sure that it doesn't move, and it's a home game for us where we don't want to move it. More likely than not, it's going to stay like 99%. And the only thing that will move is maybe the Villa game is not the 2:15, but it's the 7 p.m. because what they're trying to do is avoid the clash with basically I think it was the Forest game, right? So if you see the West Ham Forest game is also 2:15. So this game could have moved to 7 p.m. I think Spurs are saying no chance. We're not going to play on a Sunday 7 p.m. an away game, even though Birmingham is not too far from North London. And I think that's why that fixture is not certain. But 99% it's going to be on in-game week 37, and everything else is now 100% confirmed.
Yeah. I think I'll be like you said, it's a small chance, and if it does happen, I wouldn't worry about Spurs plays, but Aston Villa plays, I've got 2 good ones, so I wouldn't be too upset about that. And one more thing, actually, I wanted to touch on with you actually was is it Evan Leeson, the Bournemouth striker? He got a red card. It got rescinded. I just saw before we jumped on live. It looks like his points have been given. Now, does that going to get taken away? Is that just a admin issue?
It's an admin issue. Like when they gave it, like we knew it's an admin error. But what has happened is he in the match got a red card, right? Then he got a ban for the red card for three games. His ban was rescinded, not his red card. He still got a red card. But in basically FPL, I think they removed the red card as well. When you remove the red card as well, suddenly he got 3 points back, and now they've corrected it. So it's already corrected.
Has it already been corrected? Oh, okay. I didn't see that
done.
part.
It's already
done. And the last word on you do look like him a little bit, don't you, Praz? You're like you're like a better looking version of him.
You've done Evan Nilsson very dirty there. And I would
No,
like to
honestly,
refute any suggestions of me being related to Evanilson.
just a little bit, not a lot, not a lot, just a little
Yeah.
bit. But before we jump on to my team, which there is a lot of stuff to talk about, let's say hello to everyone in the chat. First of all, thank you for joining us. It's extremely late. We know it's some of you are in bed watching or listening to this. So it's good to see many of you on here. Please get an early like onto the stream. That would help. I've already seen there's a super chat, bro. Did you want to take care of that now, or should we leave them to the end?
Well, depending on whether that fits in the flow, I think let's do it when we come to our teams because he's talking about Saka. He or she is talking about Saka to Bomo. So
All right.
that's going to be something that we will talk about as far as our teams. And let's not forget it because I do sometimes forget. And by the way, we should
Yeah,
just generally say hello to the chat. We don't normally do this live
I
because
know.
we end up being lazy and Mo doesn't let me do this live. But today it's a pleasure to have you on. It's actually we felt like it's a nice thing, like we're all
Yeah,
happy with our free hits. It's the game week is actually technically just ended, and so it was a nice thing to do it live this time.
yeah, I agree with you. It's a nice vibe. It worked out perfect with the game week and, like you said, the European fixtures. You're happy, I'm happy, so it's perfect. Yeah. Now, wait till you see my team. I've got loads of dilemmas. It's a perfect game week for our pod actually.
Yeah.
Squad's healthy, obviously. We've wildcarded not long ago, so no injuries, and got one free transfer, 0.7 in the bank. The real discussion today is going to be the one transfer, whether I utilize it or not, which we'll get to that later on, and the benching because the bench is stacked. So I'm going to tell you how I've currently got it set up. Do you want to read through it first, or do you
Well,
want to have something
instead
to
of doing
ask?
it like this, I
Yeah.
suggest we do it by team, right?
All
Because
right.
we need to first discuss what we think about Arsenal. Like you've got 3 Arsenal players starting. We
Yes.
need to talk about Man City. Like you've got 2 starting, but can you get a third? You're benching 2 Crystal Palace. Let's do team by team. So
Yeah.
Arsenal, what's your view on Arsenal? What are they going to do?
So I'm worried about this fixture. I'm worried about this fixture. I'm conflicted. I'll tell you why. First of all, we know Arsenal are close. I mean, I thought PSG were a better team, but in my mind, I thought PSG had much more chances. When I looked at the XG, it was pretty close. But having said that, Arsenal are only 1-0 away, which means they're going to go full power for that fixture, obviously, because they're a Champions League final awaits, which means Bournemouth is going to be second fiddle. But then part of me thinks, though, if they do drop points, say they lose against Bournemouth, then they've got Liverpool and Newcastle. Could it make a nervy finish to the season? So I'm not quite sure what Arteta's going to do. I'm at a loss. The only one I'm confident is that I think Saka is gonna get a rest. The defensive guys, I got this feeling he's gonna play them. That's the reason they're currently on my starting 11. You can see Raya and Saliba.
So I'm with you. They're going to start.
Yeah.
Because I think if I was to do a predicted lineup, it's Raya, Kivior, and Saliba. So that's the
Yeah.
triangle. And then he will rotate on the wings, right? So instead of Luis Kelly, it could be Zinchenko. Instead of Timber, it could be White. So if you have those defenders, they probably don't start. And then up front, you can see Nwaneri starting. You can see Sterling starting. Maybe Trossard starts because Partey will be back. So Trossard may not start the second leg. So that's the kind of thinking. So Saka won't start. But it's not just about if they start or not. When they have all these duds in front of them, how are they going to do? Because Bournemouth are a good team. They beat them
They're a very good team.
when they were at home. So anyway, I don't like the clean sheet prospects, which, by the way, are reflected in Rob T's clean sheet percentages. So if you go to Rob T's chart, Arsenal already, I don't think they've been at 32% all season. So it's already basically in line with a Brentford or an Aston Villa. So my question is, it's not just about whether Kivior starts or Saliba starts or Raya starts. I think they start, but do you want to start them? And who are your other alternatives? That's basically the question with Arsenal.
Which then brings me, like you said, so there are alternatives. I've got one. So Konsa, I always look at him as a very non-exciting FPL pick. I know he's consistent. I know you're a big fan of him, so you might be a bit biased when you tell me about Konsa, but the fixture's good. Aston Villa's motivation is incredible. Unlike Arsenal, they've got no more European headache, so it means it's full power for the top 5 places, okay? So he's an easy pick for me. I could easily go there. Munoz, the more difficult fixture against Nottingham Forest, but I would be worried about them, but the FA Cup finals is a bit of a way. So surely he goes full power against Nottingham Forest. It's way too early to start rotating.
I can answer your question now. Play Munoz over Saliba. It's not even a question.
You think so, yeah?
No question. I mean, you could start him over Milenkovic if you want, but Munoz has to start, man.
The Milenkovic one, I always picture Nottingham Forest as a super strong defensive, and they have been, to be fair. I think they're third in goals conceded, only to Arsenal and Liverpool. This result tonight shocks me. I know we don't go off one fixture, but that did throw me back. I did not expect that. But the conundrum is there. I was thinking Munoz as well. I was thinking over Saliba, not Milenkovic. But that could change. Obviously, that was before tonight's results.
I mean, I'm going to convince you to start. Who's your third bench? Konza? I'm going to convince you to start Konza and Munoz over Milenkovic and Saliba. But I can understand you starting Nottingham Forest defense because, they could do all right. What are the clean sheet odds again?
Who for Nottingham Forest?
Yeah.
Where are we?
It's the last game, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, there it is.
24%.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
Yeah, it's not great.
Milenkovic can go. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you start him. I'm just giving you my view.
Yeah, no, totally. That's why I said this week, when I looked at the team on the screen, I thought this is good. We'll have. I knew this team would.
I'm all for. So number one, I can see a lot of questions in the chat. So people are asking in terms of, firstly, great point by FPL Freddy that Raya is definitely going to play because Neto is ineligible to play against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
He's loaned from that. Great point. Mark is asking, do I go against double Arsenal defense? There's a question from Sally on would you start Konate over Kivior? Look, I think in general, I'm in favor of splitting your risk on Arsenal. Like, I think one is hygiene, right? Because a lot of your competitors, a lot of your peers are going to have one Arsenal, unless you have fantastic options, which I don't know who those are. Like maybe double City defense and you have Munoz maybe. So unless those are your options, I think I would start one Arsenal defender or goalkeeper, whichever one you like and whichever one you don't have a good replacement for. In terms of starting Konate, I would not start Konate. Away to Chelsea, I'm not feeling that. But Munoz, even Konza, same clean sheet odds. Why not? And Munoz has his own attacking threat.
Who Munoz? That's the one thing I like about him. Even if the clean sheet vanishes, you live in hope with him. Like he's their right winger, basically. So I do like him. And I did consider him. And as I said, I wasn't 100% sure. I put this team out there, even the captaincy, which we'll get to later on. I put this team there. And it's only a couple of them are locked. The rest of them, if I'm honest with you, could easily change. And this is before even the transfer.
So that's Arsenal. Let's go to Man City, I guess. So Mamouche and Guardiola. Now it's the game tomorrow night. Yeah. And so early kickoff again. Early kickoff in the sense of the deadline is just before the Man City game. We should hear if there's a Man City midfielder called Kevin De Bruyne starting. And I know a lot of people are thinking about selling Saka. We on this podcast, and I said the same thing on The Wire, we don't think Saka is going to start. I think it's going to be shocking if he starts. He could, it's not inconceivable, but he's basically going to most likely. So now you have two routes. You can go De Bruyne, you can go Mbeumo, actually three. You can even go Bowen. So if you hear KDB starting, what are your thoughts there?
So part of me was getting a bit of almost FOMO before it's even preempted, because remember I was close to going to KDB. Remember, I can't remember, was it the last pod or the one before actually? That position was up for, it was going to be one of those, and I went Saka in the end. But if he is starting, I'm not sure if I would be tempted to go there. Man City look like they're finishing the season strong. I think they've won, is it 4 from the last 5, 3 clean sheets. They're looking like they're just coming together nicely. And the news of seeing Haaland and Rodri both training should pick them up in training as well. But to answer your question, whether
sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go on.
Pep has already had his press conference. I don't know if you saw that today.
No, I
because
didn't
they
see
have
it.
The Friday game. He's already said Haaland's not going to be. He's not going to be ready. Rodri is not even close to being ready.
No, Rodri's definitely not going to be. Yeah,
it's a little bit of hype on X that Haaland is back or whatever. He's not. Probably from Pep's words, Haaland is not even going to be on the bench. So Haaland is a no-go.
Which is good for our Marmouche pick at least anyway.
Yeah.
With regard to that. So that's, and especially if you're thinking about captaining, which we'll discuss more detail later. But to answer your question, it's whether or not would I go KDB ahead of Mbeumo. That's the truth of it. That's the conundrum I've got in front of me. So I've got one free transfer. The dilemma is I couldn't really see any other way of getting anyone else that I think I want to get rid of. Saka was the one, mainly because the European fixture and his rotation, and we've seen recently how he's rotated him in between the Champions League games. But then there's a small part of me that thinks if they get knocked out and they are 1-0 down, am I getting rid of a player that, he's playing for one of the best teams in the Prem, his minutes should be secured by then, takes pen, all the good stuff. So I don't know. I'm a bit confused what to do with that. It was between Mbeumo. I didn't consider KDB. Now you put the thought in my head. I didn't consider him. Why? What's your take on him? Do you think that would be a green flag to go for him if you
No,
think he's
I think
starting?
if you're chasing, it's very obvious to say let's do Saka to Boomer, right? Like because
Yeah.
everyone is going to be do it. Boomer's probably going to be captained by many people. He's probably going to be 70% EO, if not more.
Agree.
Although after tonight's blank, maybe less people captain him, which is nice. Like for chasers, like you could go Boomer and then captain him. So I feel like there's a little bit of again game theory with your competition, right? Because ultimately you play this game against other people. Like objectively speaking, I think Boomer's as good a captain as anyone else. There's a quote from Amorim after tonight's game where he said we have to rotate. No surprise. But just in case people were thinking, oh, Man United are 3-0 up and it's fine. He said we have to rotate. So I'm expecting basically no Hoyland, no Garnacho, no Bruno. It's going to be Obi Martin. It's going to be Mainu. It's going to be Mount. It's going to be Ericsson. It's going to be Collier. So Casemiro's not going to play. So doesn't mean that Man United will get thumped, right? But it just means that it's going to be a different team. It's not going to be the regular team who don't have the rhythm. The defense, Maguire, I don't think will start. I don't think Euro will start. So it's just the fixture is there for the taking.
Which makes predicting the result very difficult. Like if that makes sense, because that team that United's going to put together, you don't know what you can't. Like you don't know what to expect from it. Like you said, you really don't know. And Brentford put in an excellent performance tonight. I mean, they've got an outside chance. Would you say Brentford have got motivation? Have they got an outside chance of a European
Of course
place?
they do.
Of course they do, don't they? Yeah, exactly.
I think they're one of the key favorites. Not favorites, because hold on, let me open the Premier League table. Because I think Fulham are ahead of them. Or did they overtake them today?
I can't remember. I had a little look yesterday to check to make sure the motive.
So they are, they're 49 points. Bournemouth are 50, Brighton are 51, Fulham are 51. They're basically 2 points behind Fulham for 8th. And given their fixtures, you would say that they're one of the favorites to finish 8th, which is going to be a Europa League place.
Yeah. Then when you put it like that, the motivation combined with that Man United team they're going to put out, it does make it hard to go against them and not go for the easy pick. But like you said, I am chasing. I am in that position. I need to think a little bit different because my team is going to be pretty template for the people that wildcarded at the same time as us. So it's trying to see where I can make little gains here and there.
So, I mean, it's just a thought because every podcast will be telling you to do Saka to Bomo. Like,
yeah.
So I'm guilty of this as well. I'm not blaming the podcast. But because it's a sensible move. Bomo is very captainable this week and he's captainable next week. So it's not bad, but I think with 4 weeks left, like normally I would say get Boomo. Like no chance, don't think about it. Because over a course of 6, 8, 10 weeks, he's going to get you those penalty goals, free kick goal assists, corner assists. But over 4 weeks, you can be a little bold if you wanted to. So I'm giving all this advice when I'm going to come to my team and tell you I'm doing Saka to Boomo. So I'm just being honest. Because at this point of the season, you have to give advice on if you're ahead in the mini league by 20 points and if you're behind in your mini league by 20 points. I feel you can take on Boomer if you're behind. Like it's not like he's a pick like Salah or Isak or something that you have to have it.
I totally agree with you, and that is something I need to consider. I did earmark that the Saka to Mbeumo move, but maybe I do need to reconsider. I was thinking this week maybe the captaincy is somewhere where I can go, like to potentially make some gains. But so that's
captaincy is also something where people can be different.
Yeah, totally agree with you. So that's Manchester City. So we've done Arsenal, we've done Manchester City. Yeah, Palace. I don't think there's another third position, is there? Just before we finish on Man City, I don't think there's another third position. I don't really like. Is there anyone else at Man City you'd consider apart from the two we have? There isn't no one, is there?
I mean, De Bruyne, like I said, but other than that, I wouldn't make a defensive transfer.
Nah, not at all. Albeit they've kept 3 clean sheets, as I said, in the last 5 or 6, though. Not too bad.
But use your 4 magic beans. I've previously said like you have your last few transfers are like magic beans. You don't need to waste them on getting O'Brien from Everton or Ruben Diaz from Man City. No chance.
No chance. Now, I've already got enough defenders. Look, I'm benching quality defenders. So I'm definitely not buying a defender. That's for sure. Has to be an attacker. Exactly. So the other team, did we want to discuss Crystal Palace?
Yes.
I mean, a lot of us are stacked up on them. Yeah, I think the combination both of us have is we've got the same combo apart from some have got Ezra like me, some have got like you, some have got Saar. what to do with them. They've done really well to get to the FA Cup final. So clearly the games before the FA Cup is going to be danger zone. We know that. We've seen what Glasner has done. Like he's players were getting taken off in 45 minutes. So that game is a problem. But for this game, do you think they go full strength? That's the first question to ask. Do you think they go full strength for this game? There's no reason not to, is there, Pras? Crystal Palace, I'm
think they
saying.
go full
Oh,
strength.
I can't hear you, Pras.
Yeah.
2 seconds. I think that was.
Can you not hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. It was just a little delay. I think there was a little lag. I can hear you, Pras. Apologies.
Okay.
And they'll
Am
tell
I
us
am
in
I
the
back
chat.
now or not back?
Yeah. I think you're just a little bit delayed. I think
Okay, hold
so.
on
The
then.
chat would tell us if there is, or maybe it's just on my screen. You could be perfect, and it's just me.
Okay, I've changed my.
Everything is. Yeah.
Is this better?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you and see you good, mate. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is better or not?
Yeah, it is better. Yeah.
Okay. I sometimes my camera, the other camera, the fancy camera's off. Got me. It delays things. It lags. So you can hear me now.
I can hear you good, mate. Totally good.
Okay. So I think on Palace, the thing is, I think Eze is great. I think even Mateta is fine, and Munoz is fine, and Sarr is okay. So I think you can play your Palace assets this week. I think they go full strength because they will have played the FA Cup game on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Or was it Saturday? I forget now. But it's been a while. And then they play on a Monday now. So they'll have like 8 days rest. So I think a lot of the rotation that we saw was because they had the double, right? They were playing every third
That's what
day.
it was. Yeah.
And of course they were preparing for the semi-final. But now the final is some time away. So I would think the Palace assets are fine, especially if you think Nottingham Forest are not all that, which is probably the case.
I mean, I saw some in the chat saying that Nottingham Forest are bottling it. They're going to bottle it. I mean, I hope not, but I don't know. That result tonight hasn't helped their cause. And when you look at the statistics, it's not looking a high-scoring game, is it? That's the thing with this fixture. I mean, how many players do you pick? Are you going to play triple Crystal Palace? I'm not sure I'll do triple Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, but it's not triple attack. It's only like one attacker and one defender, I think is fine.
Yeah, maybe two. Maybe I think two. Maybe two works well, actually. That's not too bad. Let me make sure. Okay, yeah, everyone's saying it's all good.
So I would think this is fine. Like bench Mateta, play Eze. Like in my case, I'll probably play Mateta and bench Sarr, something like that. Playing one is fine, blanks, but you got to go with what you think. And I think going one Crystal Palace attacker is fine.
So what actually might add to this conversation? So we've discussed the three teams, but we should mention I've got three single players. So we won't discuss them as teams. I've got Murphy, Salah, and Rodgers. Could one of them, for example, be dropped for Sayer and Mateta? Like for example, Murphy, he's been great this season. He's made that right wing his own, but you are picking a player that is going to play 65 minutes again. Is he in contention? Would you consider dropping him for me to play, say, Mateta in this scenario?
The thing is that Brighton have been very poor in the last few games, right? I mean, I think I was reading somewhere they've conceded at least 2 goals in their last 6 games. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't you have Murphy? Like, I don't know if you watched the Ipswich game. Did you see how good Murphy was in the first half?
Yeah.
Like he should have had, he could have had a triple return.
Agree.
So I'm just more scared. But then Mateta is also good. Like it's a decision that is on the margin. So I don't want to tell you one is better than the other. Clearly,
Yeah.
How many minutes do you think Mateta will play?
That's the thing. I really don't know, actually. I think Murphy's the one I'm confident is going to be 65 minutes, but Mateta maybe 75 minutes, 75, 80 minutes. What do you think?
If you think it's 80 minutes, then play Mateta over Murphy. It's a home game. Yeah, it's close. If you want to spread your risk, but if you want to play both and hope for a Palace 3-0 win, then yeah, that's your way to double down on the risk.
Or roll the transfer and bench Saka and play one of those guys. Maybe is that an option? Don't use the transfer.
Can do that.
Possibly, isn't it?
To me,
it seems like
it feels a bit passive with only 4 weeks left, like not to attack.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, it does feel like that. And then it remains Rodgers. I think he's an easy start. He's been one of the players of the seasons for Aston Villa. Their motivation is strong, and that we should touch on. That's the same for Newcastle as well. So that's not in contention for me. He's definitely playing. And the last player is Mohamed Salah. As you can see, I've got the captaincy on him. That could easily change. I just left it when I took the screenshot. But what's your take on the Liverpool now? Do you think they're going to turn up for the remainder of the season? Do you think they're going to just mix and match with the
You
players,
tell
or
me.
is on a slot? I mean, I think, for example, they're gonna play a strong enough team. Mainly, one of the big reasons people is for Mohamed Salah. He's got 2 huge records, and I refuse to believe he won't be wanting to go for them. You won't get another opportunity in these 2 years to go to break Alan Shearer and Andy Cole's record, which was done in a 42 game. That's a goal assist in a 42 game season. That's incredible, and 2 more assists to break Henry and KDB's one. So for me, as a team, I think there's going to be a good enough team. Are they going to be a bit jaded from the celebrations and partying? Yeah, possibly. And the Chelsea fixture as well doesn't add to it, like you told me. They've been pretty good defensively as well. But I think, to answer your question, I think Liverpool are going to play a decent team. Yes, there might be some early substitutions, but I refuse to believe it's going to become the kids. No chance. I think we're on course to be able to get 91 points. Why would you miss that opportunity? So, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, but I'm not going to captain Salah. Like, come on. Like, Salah's going to be 130, 140%. It's okay to take him on this week, I feel. Like, Chelsea away, maybe. Like, you could be wrong and Salah scores a brace. Of course, it's Salah, man. I mean, we're not arguing against that. But it feels like it's a week you can take him on a little bit. Chelsea have all to play for, right? So, like, it's one team that has zero motivation versus the other team that is fighting for Champions League. If anything, it's going to be at least a tight affair, 1-0, maybe 2-1, even if Liverpool were to win. I just don't see a hammering. I have no doubt Salah will beat the record over the 4 games. I'll probably captain him game week 38, maybe even game week 37. But away to Chelsea, I don't know. Like, I feel like you can back against him.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, 100%. I'm not quite sure. As I said, that was more there when I took the screenshot of the team. That could change. But I think we've spent more than enough time on my team. I want to get to your team before. Is there any other thing you wanted to discuss on my team, Prez?
So if you don't captain Salah, who are you going to captain?
I think this week there's actually quite. So if Mbumo came in, he's a potential. Or KDB just said, like you said, that's a bit more high risk one. We've got Isaac is a very good captaincy. You just sold him to me with the Brightons, how they've been defending. Marmoush is possibly the safe pick. Very safe pick. Hopefully, like you said, with no Haaland, the minutes I could. Man City getting a bit better. And the Wolves fixture, albeit Wolves have picked up. But yeah, that's a good fixture. I think he's the safest. I've got a feeling he'll be one of the highest captains this game week there. So there's 3 there straight for you, actually. Yeah. Isaac, Marmoush, and if I do bring in Mbumo, KDB, one of those can be a candidate. So I think this week is going to be, I think there's opportunity this week to roll the dice and hope I get lucky.
Yep. This is why I feel you can go against Salah. Like, it's the week you can do it.
I think you're right. Do you think Salah will still be the highest captain? I actually was thinking this is the opportunity to maybe go him. Everyone's going to think Liverpool are all going to be drunk or not so serious, and Chelsea are so good defensively. That's what I was thinking. Or do you reckon no, he would just be the highest captain regardless?
I just think still we tend to think, okay, X or YouTube is basically, this is going to be what the masses will do. In the end, like I think 30-40% of the player pool just go, you know what, just captain Salah. Like, why are you trying to overthink things? Like, he's going to score like 300 plus, or he's already at 300 plus points. Just don't get clever with it. And their strategy has worked, which is why they're highly ranked, and they will continue to captain Salah. There's going to be a lot of Salah. Like 130%, I think, is a given.
I think you're right, Pras. Yeah, I think you're right. And that is a good segue to your team. But before I go to your team, I want to read out another super chat. And this one's not even a question. It's just a lovely message from the heroic Doses. I think I've said that correct. She's just saying no question, just to say a big thank you from the content you have and me have provided this season. Hopefully we're back next season. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. Exactly. It's a nice message there. But let's have a look at your team and see if we can... how different is it to mine? You can run us from your team then, mate.
So I have got Raya. I'm going to bench Kivior, no doubt about it. I'm going to play Konza because I like Konza and I want an opportunity to spread the risk, right? Same clean sheet odds between Aston Villa and Arsenal. So I'll just spread the risk. Munoz definitely plays. Guardiola definitely plays. So, of course, this is assuming that there's no leak that Guardiola is not starting or whatever. So then midfield, Salah, Sar, De Bruyne, Rogers. So very happy to have De Bruyne. If he's leaked not to start, I'll have a decision to make. That
Okay.
do I sell him for Boomo or do I sell Saka for Boomo? Because I think Boomo will come in. Whether I captain him or not, that's going to be a decision for tomorrow.
Okay.
As things stands, I want to captain him, but let's see. So that's going to be a decision. I think I would still sell Saka because De Bruyne has Southampton next week. So it's not, his fixture is still huge next week. So why should I sell him when Saka has Liverpool? So maybe what I might do is sell Saka for Boomo and then bench De Bruyne if De Bruyne is not starting. That's something that I've considered. Otherwise, if De Bruyne is starting, then I have a decision between Sar and Rogers on who to bench. And I'm not very sure. What do you think between Rogers and Sar?
That one's. I think I prefer Rogers. Yeah,
To
prefer
bench or
Rogers.
to play?
Not to play. To play.
Me too. So I think I might end up benching Sar.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah, yeah. What an option! I keep forgetting you've got KDB. You got so much money. You got KDB and Saka. Come on, man. That's really strong there. To be fair, I like that. But yeah, so yeah, I'm trying to think. You're in a strong position. You're right. In Bubo to come in, then you're going to give yourself a bench in dilemma. But for you, the position you're in, it's an easy transfer. You teased me for considering it, but for yourself, it's the most recommended move.
So, I mean, OP Talent has sent a super chat, which is basically asking the exact question, which I have as well, which is, if I do Saka to Boomo, which one do I bench from Eze, Sar, Rogers, or Mateta?
Yeah.
I am leaning towards benching Sar, mainly to punish him because he did so well in the FA Cup and not been doing anything in the Premier League. So, he deserves that time at bench and he needs to contemplate his decisions. But it could be Rogers as well. I need to think about it. I need to see what people say. But I just think motivation-wise, Rogers is good. Even Sar is good for 90 minutes, man. Like, we'll see. We'll see. It may come down to what Glasner says on rotation and things like that. Maybe he says nothing. But as things stand, I'll be benching Sar. I'll be doing Saka to Mbumo. And then the other part of OP Talent's question is you could just basically not get Saka and just basically, if De Bruyne is starting, put this team out that you see in front of you. But I just think that Mbumo captaincy is a very good differential this week, especially because he's blanked, right? Because he's blanked, people are not.
Yeah.
Is even better. And I said this on the Wirepod as well, that I'm more likely to bench Captain Mbumo if he blanks because it's going to be even bigger differential, even bigger upside. Now, there's obviously arguments. They've played tonight, they play on Sunday, they're not used to it. But look, fact of the matter is, they put in a clinical 2-0 performance, a win against Nottingham Forest. They're going to play Man United B team, and I expect them to score a couple of goals. So why not?
Yeah. I'm in agreement with you. For you, that one's non-negotiable. I mean, captaincy, you've currently got it on Marmouche. Are you saying that if Mbumo comes in, you'd go there?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought Marmouche. Okay, so then you would go there. So you do fancy it against Manchester United. And he still had 3 shots today, by the way. Like decent quality shots. I had a quick look, even though I was watching your game. He still had 3 shots in the box as well. So
he came very close to scoring.
Yeah. God, there's nothing else for me to unpick on your team, if I'm honest with you. There's no other transfers. I was going to take you to the fixtures because, I mean, your team, we've covered a lot of the...
basically...
Go ahead, Pras. Sorry, go on. I think there was a little delay there.
There's still a lag, right?
Yeah, little one. So it comes and goes. I'm not quite sure why it's
so my team is basically... I want to basically get Boomo in, and then in Game Week 37, take 2 transfers, do Mateta to Watkins, and do something else, or maybe carry 2 free transfers to Game Week 38, where you can have 2 punts. You can have De Bruyne back to Saka, maybe, who plays Southampton, something like that. So I want to keep my powder dry, but I do think this week getting a Saka makes sense.
Who does Watkins have in that week? Why did you want to do that for next week? What's really attractive to it? Is it
He plays
got
Spurs
Fulham in them?
at home just before their final.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is a good fixture. And while we're on the fixtures, actually, Prez, I wanted to ask you because there'll be people in the chat. Who are the teams realistic to target? Now we've got no double game weeks, no more blanks. Like you said, 4 magic beans. Can't believe I just said that. Transfers for us to pick, like basically to attack every week now. You don't have to do too much future planning. Look at the fixture list. It looks pretty sad on the screen. Just 4 game weeks. Who are the teams? I've ordered this via difficulty, so obviously you could see, but is there anything that you think that stands out at you, the players to pick? We've already spoken about Mbumo, no problem, 100%. Is Nottingham Forest, are we overlooking Chris Wood again? You think no? Is that because the fixtures are good? He's the top second best fixtures.
No, Chris Wood is good. I think Nottingham Forest is a good pick this now. But who, right? I mean, Wood is then competing with other good picks. Like, you
Yeah,
have Marmoush, you have Isak, you have Watkins, you have maybe even Acuna. It's a difficult thing to go for Wood. But if you had, yeah, absolutely fine.
and then from we've discussed Man City already. Lovely end to the season, but there's not much players there. There's the 2 that most of us have, and there's a potential third with KDB. Brentford. Is it possible for people to triple up? Wissa's flying this season. 16 goals, 5 assists. He's been very impressive. I think. Do you see him being popular come for these last 4 games?
If I had 2 free transfers, I would get Vissa and Mbumo this week.
Would you
Like
go for both?
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, because Brentford are playing Man United, then Ipswich, then even Fulham and Wolves. They have the motivation, they have the talismans. Like between Bumo and Vissa, they share all the goals. So I would say 2 free transfers. Get Vissa. I wouldn't take a hit, but I just think it's they're both good picks.
They are really good picks. I've had a good experience of Wissa this season, and I was actually looking around thinking, do I bring him back in? In my video this week, that he's one of the players I consider, Wissa and Chris Wood as well. So you're right there. What about in West Ham? The fixtures are not too bad, and some who weren't free hitting already went Bowen, and he has delivered for them. You reckon he's a good option come end of the season
I
as
think he's
well?
fantastic. Yeah, I mean, again, for chasers, you can go instead of Mbumo, you can go Bowen, even Captain Bowen,
Mm,
because same thing, same principle applies that Spurs will put out a B team in this
yeah.
game, even though it's a London derby, and there's a little bit of needle in this fixture. I don't know, as somebody living in London, I've seen the West Ham fans outside of Spurs and vice versa. So it's a derby, proper derby. But I think Spurs will still put out their second team. So I think West Ham will do well in this, and Bowen should do well as well. So if you have, if you're on a wild card, everybody has Bowen and Mbumo.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah, it's an easy pick. I'm trying to look through the rest of the fixtures to see if there's any players that we've missed out on. The one question that came to my mind: what if you're still tripled up on Newcastle? The fixtures start getting a bit more difficult. I mean, Newcastle this season, they've been one of the best teams in the Prem to watch, and they've got the motivation and they're super strong. Do you think you just stick with them because of what they're playing for, or do you think it's time to start making movements and get rid of them?
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you get rid
No,
of
I
some
think
of
you
them,
stick with
Praz?
them. I think they're
You
a good
stick with
team,
them,
and
yeah.
no, you stick with them. Like, I don't think they're good transfers out. Like, they could be like, okay, they're not the easiest fixtures, but especially in their attack, I think they're a good team with all the motivation. Even more so when Nottingham Forest has lost tonight. Like, they can smell Champions League. So they're not a team you need to worry about at the moment. Like, there's other problems. Newcastle is not.
Fine. And apart from that, let me check here quickly before we go on to this. We're nearly finished off. We've answered, I think, everything. I want to check if there's any questions, Praz. So there's another one here, and it's from Mo, but it's not me, obviously. Big fan of this show, especially the live shows. Would you rather Saka to Mbumo, bench Sar, or Sar and Mateta to Mbumo and Wissa for a -4? So we kind of touched on that a minute ago, didn't we, Praz? But this time it's for a minus, not a wild card.
I saw that and I covered it. Yeah,
Oh, you
I
covered
wouldn't
it
do it for a
already? Okay,
-4.
so
I would just
you wouldn't do
change.
it.
Yeah, I would just do Saka to Bumo, and leave the Mateta to Wissa.
All right, I'm just trying to pick if there's any more last questions before we finish off. To be
Oh,
fair.
hold on. Their second choice is not to sell Saka and then do Sar to Mateta for -4 and Benz. Actually, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't mind that. I don't mind that. If
as
you're
in you
doing
would
a
do it.
hit, yeah, I would do it because you are then not selling Saka. You have Saka for the future games, like especially 37, 38 when his fixtures are good. And you're able to get both Bumo and Wissa. I don't mind that.
Cool. That's answered your question, Mo. I'm going to pick a couple more questions and then we're done, Praz.
Dinesh
So,
is saying, what
Eddie-
about Bruno for the rest of the season? Don't touch him. He may not even start the next game.
Don't go to Bruno. Yeah. Though even after these heroics, he always turns up for Man United, to be fair. Fair play to him.
Yeah, but it's just minutes. Like, if he's normally fine, but not around the Europa League semi-final and final.
Yeah. No, and you've fully, like, if there's a team that's given up in the Premier League, you're that. You finished. You and Spurs are not. Did you see Spurs against Liverpool? It's one of the few games I watched where they went 1-0 up. I was still drinking my tea calmly. I knew there was a goal. We're going to score goals. It's very rare you get that in the Premier League. And yeah, I think Man United, in the same position. Because think about it, you might win that trophy. And even in your most horrendous season, you've won a European Cup. I mean, fair play.
I mean, we're on for like 3 trophies in three.
I know. I don't know how you do it because you're so terrible, yet you're still stacking up trophies. Fair play to Man United. Yeah. Anyway,
there's a lot of questions on Savio and a lot of questions. I don't know why so many people own Savio. If he's starting tomorrow, then he's a play. If he's not starting, he's a sell. I don't think there's any middle way because he may not start in the future and you will have the same problem every single week.
I agree with you. I think I've not liked him as a pick. I'm not quite sure. Predicting teams in the Premier League this season, it's been difficult anyway with minutes and the squads are getting so big and strong. Even the lower teams can rotate. But trying to pick Pep's wingers, no chance. So I agree with you. I think it's too much headache. Yes, he could start and it's against Wolves and you might get a bit of regret. But I think he's an easy sell, me personally. Too much headache. Any more questions you've seen there, Praz, that we haven't covered?
Yes, sell Savio for Bumo, man. Like, there's no doubt. Savio to Bumo is an easy move.
It's an easy move. Would you save transfers for Haaland? I mean, we should mention him. Like you've already said earlier on, Pep said he's not going to be in the squad. No problem. But it does look like he's getting closer. So what if he's ready for the last 3 games of the season? Would you break up your team press to bring him in? So for these fixtures, look where Man City are. Say he's ready. He's fit for Southampton onwards. Would you do that? Would you make adjustments? Well, you've got the money. You could probably just sell one player and bring him in. But for us, it's a difficult pick.
No, I wouldn't do it. I would just say buy. Because the 2 good fixtures you want him for are Wolves and Southampton. And if he's not even on the bench on Wolves, then who knows if he starts Southampton? Nah, I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it, no. Fair. I was thinking you might sell him a bit more to me. I was thinking he might be a good... very rare you're going to get Haaland.
Bench Luis Diaz or Cunha from Meerkat? Last question.
All right. Luis Diaz or Cunha?
From Meerkat, I would bench Diaz.
Yeah, I think just because of the minutes and the opposition Chelsea as well. Yeah.
And Cunha is class, like he's going to get the minutes, he's going to get bonus, and I think there's a big difference.
Having said that, Man City's 42% clean sheet odds. It's like second best this week.
Doesn't matter. Cunha
still doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, he has been. Yeah, I agree with you anyway.
All right, more got to go. Last question from Eddie. Saka and Rashford to Boom and Bowen for -4. Because Rashford is out for the season, I would do it.
Yeah, totally agree. That's an easy one as well.
My wife wants to go to bed.
Should we keep Praz here and get him in trouble, people? We've got loads on the chat. Listen, please like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed.
Oh, very good. Yes, well done.
You see, come on, Praz, man. I'm on the ball here, mate. But listen, thank you very much, Praz. I'm going to let you go and enjoy the Man United highlights. Don't try to tell me your wife's calling. You're going to watch the match again. I know the tactics.
No. This table is in the bedroom, so I will go watch the TV, but she needs to sleep.
All right. Good. That's a good enough reason. No problem. Listen, Praz, thank you very much. Listen, guys, everyone, have a good week. Hopefully, get green arrow for you guys.